Imagine planning your wedding for months only to discover your groom and your own sister together the night before. This is the story of a beautiful bride who had everything ready: the dress, the church, the guests. But she had one secret that nobody knew. She had recorded proof of the ultimate betrayal. Every word, every moan, every lie. And the woman who betrayed her, she was her own blood sister, standing beside her as a bridesmaid. What happened at that altar will shock you. Once upon a time, there was a woman named Esther. She was 26 years old, beautiful in a quiet way, the kind of beauty that didn't shout but whispered. Her skin was smooth like caramel, her eyes were deep brown and steady, and when she smiled, it started from her eyes and moved down to her lips slowly, like honey dripping from a spoon. She walked like someone who had learned early that grace was more powerful than noise. Her posture was straight but not stiff, relaxed but not careless, and when she entered a room, people noticed not because she was loud, but because there was something calm about her, something sure, something that made you want to listen when she spoke. Esther worked as a teacher at St. Mary's private school in Surulere, Lagos. She taught English and literature to primary 5 and 6 students. The children adored her. They called her Miss Esther, the nice one, because she never shouted even when they misbehaved. She would just look at them with those steady eyes, and they would sit down quietly. Parents respected her too. They trusted her with their children. They asked for her advice. Some even invited her to family events. Esther had built a good life for herself, a simple life. She wasn't chasing money or designer bags or Instagram fame. She just wanted peace. A small apartment that smelled like lavender candles, a job that made her feel useful, and love, real love, the kind that didn't play games, the kind that showed up. Then one Saturday afternoon at her friend Kemi's birthday party, she met Jabari. Jabari was tall, about 6 feet, light-skinned, with a clean shave and a sharp jawline. He wore a white shirt tucked into black trousers and brown loafers that looked expensive. His watch caught the light every time he moved his hand. He worked in real estate, buying and selling properties across Lagos. He had that confident walk, that smooth talk. He knew how to make a woman feel seen. Kemi introduced them. Esther, this is my cousin Jabari. Jabari, this is my best friend Esther. Jabari smiled and extended his hand. Esther, beautiful name. She shook his hand. Thank you. You're a teacher? Yes. How did you know? Kemi talks about you all the time, says you're the smartest person she knows. Esther laughed softly. She's exaggerating. I doubt that. They talked for an hour. About books, about Lagos traffic, about the best suya spots in the city. Jabari was funny. He made her laugh, and when he asked for her number, she gave it to him without hesitation. He called the next day, then the day after that. Within 2 weeks, they were seeing each other regularly. He took her to nice restaurants. He bought her flowers without being asked. He called when he said he would. He showed up on time, and when he looked at her, she felt like she was the only woman in the world. After 6 months, Jabari took her to the beach at Lekki. The sun was setting. The sky was orange and purple. The waves were gentle. He got down on one knee and pulled out a ring. Esther, I don't have a long speech. I just know that I want to spend my life with you. Will you marry me? She covered her mouth with both hands, her eyes filled with tears. Yes. Yes, Jabari. He slipped the ring on her finger. It was silver with a small diamond, simple. Perfect. They hugged and he lifted her off the ground, spinning her around. People on the beach clapped and cheered. That night, Esther called her parents. Her mother cried tears of joy. Her father said, "Bring him home so we can meet him properly." The next weekend, Jabari visited Esther's family house in Ikeja. It was a modest bungalow with a small compound and a mango tree in the backyard. Esther's mother cooked jollof rice, fried plantain and chicken. Her father wore his best kaftan and sat in his favorite chair, asking Jabari questions. What do you do? I work in real estate, sir. Do you go to church? Yes, sir, every Sunday. Do you drink? Only on special occasions, sir. Esther's father nodded slowly. Then he looked at Jabari directly. My daughter is precious to me. If you hurt her, I will not forgive you. Jabari met his gaze. I won't hurt her, sir, I promise. Everyone was happy. Everyone except Zuri. Zuri was Esther's younger sister. She was 23 years old, pretty with long black braids that reached her waist, light brown eyes, and full lips that she always painted red. She knew she was attractive and she used it. She wore tight dresses and high heels even when she wasn't going anywhere special. She took photos constantly and posted them online with captions like "God's favorite" and "Too blessed to be stressed." But beneath the makeup and the smile lived something darker: jealousy. It had been there since they were children. It grew slowly like mold in a damp corner. When Esther got a new dress for Christmas, Zuri would cry until their parents bought her 2 dresses. When Esther won the Best Student Award in primary school, Zuri locked herself in the bathroom and refused to come out for hours. When Esther made friends, Zuri would befriend them too, and then slowly turn them against Esther by spreading small lies. Esther said, "You're boring. Esther thinks she's better than you." And when their parents praised Esther for anything, good grades, helping with chores, speaking politely, Zuri would sulk and refuse to eat dinner. Their mother would sigh and say, "Zuri, why are you like this?" And Zuri would reply, "Why do you always love her more?" It wasn't true. Their parents loved both daughters equally, but Zuri couldn't see it. She only saw what Esther had, and she wanted it. So when Jabari came into Esther's life, Zuri watched closely. She studied him like a student preparing for an exam. She learned his habits. She noticed how he laughed at jokes, how he checked his phone, how he touched Esther's hand when they sat together, how he looked at her when she spoke. And slowly, quietly, Zuri began to plant seeds. It started small, innocent even. She would sit beside Jabari at family dinners and ask him questions about his work. "Jabari, how do you handle such big property deals? You must be so smart." He would smile, flattered by the attention. "It's not that hard once you understand the market. Still, not everyone can do what you do." She would lean in when he spoke. She would laugh a little too loudly at his jokes. She would touch his arm lightly when she made a point. "You're so funny, Jabari." Esther didn't notice at first. She trusted her sister. She trusted Jabari. And she was busy. Planning a wedding was exhausting. Choosing a venue, picking colors, sending invitations, visiting tailors, meeting with the caterer. Every day there was something new to do. But Zuri was patient. She had time. One Friday evening, Jabari came to visit Esther at her parents' house. Esther was in the kitchen with her mother, preparing pepper soup. The steam filled the kitchen. The smell of uziza and utazi leaves mixed with goat meat made the whole house smell good. Zuri walked into the living room where Jabari sat on the couch, scrolling through his phone. She wore a short black dress that hugged her curves and silver earrings that dangled when she moved. "Hey, Jabari," she said softly, sitting beside him. Not too close, but closer than a sister-in-law should sit. He looked up. "Hey, Zuri, where's Esther?" "In the kitchen with Mama. She'll be out soon." Zuri crossed her legs slowly and looked at him with wide, innocent eyes. "Can I ask you something?" "Sure." She hesitated like she was nervous. "Do you ever feel like Esther doesn't really see you?" Jabari blinked, his eyebrows pulled together. "What do you mean?" Zuri shrugged one shoulder. "I don't know. She's just so busy all the time, with work, with wedding planning. I just wonder if she really pays attention to you, like really listens when you talk." Jabari frowned. "She does." "Okay." Zuri smiled sweetly. "I just worry about you both. I want this marriage to work. I want you to be happy." She stood up and walked away before he could respond. Her hips swayed as she left the room. Jabari stared after her for a moment, then shook his head and went back to his phone. But the seed was planted. Over the next few weeks, Zuri continued. She was clever about it. She sent Jabari funny memes late at night. Just random jokes. Nothing suspicious. He would laugh and send back laughing emojis. Then she started calling him to ask for advice. "Jabari, sorry to bother you, but I'm looking at apartments. Can you help me understand the rental agreement?" "Sure, send it to me. Thank you so much. You're a lifesaver." She complimented his cologne when he visited. "What is that smell? It's really nice." "Oh, this. It's Dior Sauvage. It suits you." She praised his ideas during family discussions. "Jabari, you're so right, I never thought of it that way." And every time she made sure to add, "Esther is so lucky to have you. I hope she knows that." Jabari didn't realize what was happening. He thought Zuri was just being friendly, supportive, maybe a little chatty but harmless. He never saw the trap closing around him. But Esther started to notice small things, the way Zuri's eyes lingered on Jabari when he spoke, the way she laughed too hard at his jokes even when they weren't funny, the way she found excuses to sit next to him, the way she touched his arm when she talked to him. Always light, always brief, but always there. One Sunday after church, Esther pulled Zuri aside in the compound. "Zuri, can we talk?" Zuri looked surprised. "Yeah, sure. What's up?" Esther crossed her arms. "Are you okay?" "Yeah, why?" "You've been acting strange lately, around Jabari." Zuri laughed, but it sounded forced. "Strange? What do you mean?" "You know what I mean. The touching, the laughing, the late-night calls." Zuri's smile faded for just a second, then it returned brighter than before. "Esther, you're being paranoid. I'm just being nice. He's going to be my brother-in-law. What do you want me to do?" "Ignore him?" Esther studied her sister's face. "Just don't be too nice." Zuri's eyes narrowed slightly, then she softened. "Of course, I'm sorry if I made you uncomfortable. That wasn't my intention." Esther nodded slowly. "Okay." But something in her stomach twisted. She didn't believe her sister. Not completely. That night, Zuri lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. She was angry. How dare Esther question her? How dare she act like she owned Jabari? Like she was the only one who could talk to him? Zuri clenched her fists. She had spent her whole life watching Esther get everything. The praise, the attention, the perfect life. And now she had the perfect man too. No, Zuri wouldn't let it happen. Not this time. She would take Jabari from Esther, not because she loved him, but because she wanted to prove she could, because she wanted Esther to feel what it was like to lose something precious. The wedding was set for Saturday. It was Thursday evening when Zuri made her move. She called Jabari at 7:30 p.m. "Hey Jabari," she said, her voice soft and a little shaky. "Can we talk, in person?" Jabari was at home watching TV. He muted it. "About what?" "It's about Esther, something she told me. I think you should know before the wedding." Jabari sat up straight, his chest tightened. "What is it?" "I can't say over the phone. It's too serious. Can you meet me? Tonight?" He hesitated. Every part of his brain told him this was a bad idea, but curiosity pulled at him like a hook in his chest. "Where?" "There's a guest house near Ikeja, Greenfield Lodge. It's quiet. We can talk privately without anyone seeing us." Jabari rubbed his face. "Zuri, I don't know. Please, Jabari, it's important. I wouldn't ask if it wasn't." He exhaled slowly. "Okay, send me the address." "Thank you. I'll see you at 9. The call ended. Jabari sat there for a moment staring at his phone. He knew he shouldn't go. But what if it was something serious? What if Esther was hiding something? He grabbed his keys and left. Esther was at home that evening, sitting on her bed, folding clothes and humming softly to a gospel song playing on her phone. Tomorrow was Friday, the day before her wedding. She was excited, but also exhausted. Her mother walked in holding a tray with a plate of puff-puff and a cup of tea. "Esther, my dear, you need to eat something." Esther smiled. "Thank you, Mama." Her mother sat beside her on the bed. "How are you feeling? Nervous?" "A little, but mostly happy." Her mother touched her cheek gently. "You know I'm so proud of you. Jabari is a good man. He will take care of you." "I know, Mama." Esther's phone buzzed on the bed. It was a message from her friend Kemi. "Girl, I just saw Jabari's car heading toward Ikeja. Thought he was supposed to be resting at home tonight." Esther's heart skipped. She stared at the message. Her stomach tightened. She called Jabari immediately. No answer. She called again. Still nothing. Her mother noticed. "What's wrong?" "Nothing, Mama. I just need to make a call." She stood up and walked to the window. She tried Jabari again. No answer. Then she tried Zuri. No answer either. Something felt wrong. Very wrong. She turned to her mother. "Mama, I have to go out." Her mother frowned. "Now? It's almost 9 p.m. "I'll be back soon, I promise." Before her mother could protest, Esther grabbed her bag and left. She ordered an Uber. Her hands were shaking as she typed the address, Ikeja, near Allen Avenue. As the car moved through traffic, she tried calling Jabari 3 more times. No answer. She tried Zuri twice. No answer. Her mind raced. Where were they? Why weren't they picking up? She called Kemi. Where exactly did you see him? Near Allen Avenue. Looked like he was heading to that area with all the small guest houses. Esther's throat tightened. Okay, thank you. The Uber driver glanced at her in the mirror. Madam, are you okay? She nodded without speaking. Her jaw was clenched. Her hands were folded tightly in her lap. When they reached Allen Avenue, Esther leaned forward. Please drive slowly. I'm looking for something. The driver obeyed. They passed 2 guest houses, then 3. Then she saw it. Jabari's car, a black Toyota Camry, parked outside a small white building with faded green gates and a sign that read Greenfield Lodge. Her heart stopped, then it started pounding so hard she could hear it in her ears. She paid the driver and stepped out. The air was cool. The street was quiet, except for the distant sound of a generator. She walked slowly toward the gate. Her legs felt like lead. A security man sat on a plastic chair near the entrance, reading a newspaper under a dim yellow bulb. Good evening, sir, Esther said gently. He looked up. Evening, madam. Please, is there a man inside? Tall, light-skinned, driving a black Camry. The man nodded. Yes, he came about 30 minutes ago. With a lady, room 5. Esther felt like the ground was tilting beneath her. She gripped her bag tighter. Thank you. She walked past him into the compound. Her breath was shallow. Her hands were trembling. She passed room 1, room 2, room 3, room 4. Then she heard voices, faint at first, then louder. She stopped outside room 5. The door wasn't fully closed. Just a small gap, enough to hear everything. Zuri's voice came first. Soft, sweet, flirtatious. You know, I've always thought you were too good for her. Jabari laughed. It was low, relaxed. Stop it, Zuri. I'm serious. Esther doesn't appreciate you, not like I do. I see you, Jabari. I really see you. There was a pause, then movement. The sound of fabric rustling. Then a kiss. Esther's hand flew to her mouth. She bit down on her knuckle to stop the scream that was building in her throat. Jabari spoke again. His voice was thick, heavy. This is wrong. We shouldn't be doing this. No, Zuri whispered. This is right. You and me, we make sense. We always have. More kissing, longer this time. Then Zuri laughed. It was light, carefree, evil. I can't believe we're doing this the night before your wedding. Jabari chuckled. She'll never know. And even if she does, Zuri said slowly, what can she do? Leave you? She's too weak, too afraid of what people will say. She'll cry. She'll forgive you, then she'll marry you anyway. They both laughed. Esther's eyes filled with tears, but they didn't fall. She stood frozen. Her entire body was shaking. Her chest felt like someone had reached inside and squeezed her heart until it couldn't beat anymore. But she didn't cry. Not yet. She pulled her phone from her bag slowly. Her hands were trembling so much she almost dropped it. She opened the voice recorder app, pressed the red button, and held it near the crack in the door. She recorded everything. The words, the laughter, the sounds of them moving, the bed squeaking, the moaning. For 6 full minutes, she stood there like a statue, listening, recording, dying inside. When it stopped, she backed away slowly. Step by step, like she was walking away from a crime scene. She passed room 4, room 3, room 2, room 1. The security man looked at her. Madam, you didn't go inside. She shook her head. Her voice came out flat, empty. Changed my mind. She walked out of the gate and stood on the street. She ordered another Uber. When the car arrived, she got in and sat in the back seat, staring at nothing. The driver tried to make conversation. Long day? She didn't respond. Traffic was crazy today. Oh, still nothing. He gave up and turned on the radio. A gospel song played softly. Jesus is the answer. Esther closed her eyes. All she could hear was Zuri's voice. She's too weak, too afraid. When she got home, her mother was already asleep. Her father was in the living room watching the news. Esther walked past him without saying a word. He called after her. Esther, Are you okay? She didn't answer. She went into her room and locked the door. She sat on the edge of her bed. Her wedding gown hung on the back of the door, white, perfect, mocking her. She looked at her phone. The recording was saved. She played it again, then again, and again. Each time it hurt more, but each time she felt something else growing inside her. Not sadness, not fear, not even heartbreak. Anger, cold, sharp, focused anger. Esther didn't sleep that night. She sat in the dark with her phone in her hand, planning, thinking, calculating. By the time the sun came up at 6 a.m., her decision was made. She would go to the wedding, she would wear the dress, she would walk down the aisle, she would stand at the altar, and she would destroy them both. Friday passed in a strange blur. Family members started arriving from out-of-town, uncles, aunts, cousins. The house was full of noise and laughter. Decorations were being set up at the church. White roses, gold ribbons, balloons. The caterers confirmed the menu. Jollof rice, fried rice, moi moi, assorted meat, small chops. Everyone was excited. Everyone was happy. Esther moved through it all like a ghost. She smiled when people greeted her. She hugged relatives. She thanked people for their gifts. But inside she was cold, calculating, waiting. Her mother pulled her aside in the kitchen. "Esther, you look tired. Did you sleep?" "Not much, Mama." "Nerves?" Esther nodded. "Yes, nerves." Her mother hugged her. "It's normal. Tomorrow will be the best day of your life." Esther closed her eyes and rested her head on her mother's shoulder. "I hope so, Mama." At 3 p.m. Zuri arrived at the house. She wore a yellow dress and white sneakers. Her braids were styled in a high ponytail. She walked into the living room with a bright smile. "Sister," she called out. Esther turned from where she was standing near the window. She looked at Zuri, really looked at her. Studied her face, the fake smile, the bright eyes, the confidence. "Hello, Zuri." Zuri came over and hugged her. Esther's body went stiff, but Zuri didn't notice. "Oh my God, I'm so excited for tomorrow. You're going to be the most beautiful bride. I can't wait." Esther stepped back. "Thank you." Zuri sat down on the couch and crossed her legs. "So are you nervous? I would be shaking by now." "I'm calm." "Wow, you're so strong. I don't know how you do it." Esther's jaw tightened. "I'm sure you don't." Zuri's smile faltered for just a second, then she laughed. "What does that mean?" "Nothing, just a joke." They sat in uncomfortable silence for a moment. Then Zuri's phone buzzed. She picked it up and read the message. Her lips curved into a small smile. She typed something quickly and put the phone down. Esther knew who it was. She didn't need to ask. That evening, Jabari called. His voice was cheerful, too cheerful. "Baby, I can't wait to see you tomorrow. I barely slept last night just thinking about it." Esther's voice was calm. "Me too." "Are you okay? You sound different." "Just tired. It's been a long week." "Okay, get some rest. Tomorrow is our day." "Yes, our day." "I love you, Esther." She paused, looked at the ceiling, then said quietly, "I love you too." But the words felt like poison in her mouth. Saturday morning arrived with bright sunlight and clear blue skies. Birds were singing in the mango tree. The smell of frying akara filled the compound. Children ran around laughing and shouting. The church hall was beautiful. White roses lined every window. Gold ribbons hung from the ceiling. The red carpet stretched from the entrance to the altar. Chairs were arranged in neat rows. The choir was practicing hymns. The photographer was setting up his equipment. Everything was perfect. Esther woke up at 6 a.m. She didn't feel nervous. She didn't feel sad. She felt focused. She took a long shower. She washed her hair. She rubbed shea butter on her skin. She sat in front of the mirror while the makeup artist worked on her face. "You're so calm," the woman said as she applied foundation. "Most brides are shaking and sweating by now." Esther looked at her reflection. "I'm ready." The makeup artist smiled. "You're going to be the most beautiful bride I've ever worked on." When she was done, Esther stood and walked to her wedding gown. It was hanging on a stand near the window. White silk with lace details on the sleeves. A long train. A sweetheart neckline. She put it on slowly. The fabric felt cool against her skin. When she was fully dressed, she looked at herself in the full-length mirror. She looked like a bride, but she felt like a warrior going into battle. She reached into her bag and pulled out the small Bluetooth device she had bought online 2 days ago. She had tested it last night. It worked perfectly. She could connect it to any sound system within a 20-meter radius. She slid the device carefully into her bouquet where no one could see it. Then she picked up her phone and made sure the recording was ready. Her father knocked on the door. "Esther, it's time." She turned. He was standing in the doorway, wearing a navy blue suit. His eyes were wet with tears. "Daddy?" He walked over and took both her hands. "You look so beautiful, my daughter. Just like your mother on our wedding day." Esther smiled. "Thank you, Daddy. Are you happy?" She looked at him for a long moment. Then she said, "I will be." He didn't understand, but he nodded. "Okay, let's go." The convoy of cars left the house at 10:30 a.m. Esther sat in the back of the decorated bridal car. Her father sat beside her. Her mother was in the car behind them with her aunties. As they drove through the streets of Lagos, people stopped to look. Children waved. Women shouted, "Congratulations!" Men honked their horns. Esther stared out the window. Her face was calm, her hands were folded in her lap. At the church, the guests were already seated, over 300 people, friends, family, colleagues, neighbors. The choir was singing. The ushers were guiding people to their seats. Cameras flashed. Videos recorded. Jabari stood at the altar, looking nervous but happy. He wore a sharp black tuxedo with a white shirt and a gold bow tie. His best man stood beside him. They were both smiling and chatting. Zuri stood on the bride's side of the altar in her pink bridesmaid dress. She looked beautiful, confident. She checked her phone quickly, then slipped it into a small purse. The music changed. The guests stood to their feet. Everyone turned toward the entrance. Esther appeared at the door. Her father's arm was linked with hers. The train of her gown flowed behind her like water. Her veil covered her face softly. People gasped. "She's so beautiful. Look at her. What a queen." Esther walked slowly down the aisle. Step, pause, step, pause. Her heart was pounding, but her face was calm. She looked straight ahead, at Jabari, at Zuri, at the altar. Jabari's eyes filled with tears when he saw her. He smiled wide. He whispered to his best man, "She's perfect." Zuri smiled too, but inside she was thinking about last night, about Jabari's hands on her body, about the way he kissed her, and she felt proud, victorious. Esther reached the altar. Her father lifted her veil and kissed her forehead. "I love you, my daughter." "I love you too, Daddy." He placed her hand in Jabari's hand and stepped aside to sit in the front row. Esther stood facing Jabari. She didn't smile, she just looked at him. He squeezed her hand gently and whispered, "You look amazing." She didn't respond. Pastor Williams stepped forward, holding a Bible. He was an older man with grey hair and glasses. He smiled warmly at the congregation. "Dearly beloved," he began, "we are gathered here today in the presence of God and these witnesses to join together Jabari and Esther in holy matrimony." The guests settled into their seats. The pastor continued for several minutes, talking about love, commitment, trust, faithfulness. The choir sang a hymn. Someone read a scripture from 1 Corinthians chapter 13. Then Pastor Williams turned to Jabari. "Groom, you may now share your vows." Jabari took a deep breath. He looked at Esther with tears in his eyes. "Esther," he began. His voice shook slightly. "From the first day I met you at Kemi's party, I knew you were different. You brought light into my life. You made me want to be better. You made me believe in love again. And today I stand before God and everyone we love, and I promise to honor you, to protect you, to cherish you, for better or for worse, in sickness and in health, until death do us part." The congregation clapped softly. Some women dabbed their eyes with handkerchiefs. Jabari's mother was crying. Even Esther's father wiped his eyes. Then Pastor Williams turned to Esther. "Bride, your vows, please." The church went silent. Everyone leaned forward slightly, waiting to hear what Esther would say. "My sweet family, before we move forward, tell us, where are you watching from?" "Lagos, Abuja, Accra, Nairobi, Cape Town, London, Paris, Toronto, New York, Karachi, Dubai, Mumbai. Drop your location in the comments so we can see how far love and respect can travel across this world. Esther reached into her bouquet. Her fingers found the small Bluetooth device. She pressed the button. It connected immediately to the church's sound system. For a moment there was only silence. Then Zuri's voice filled the church. Loud, clear, unmistakable. "You know, I've always thought you were too good for her." Jabari's laugh followed. "Stop it, Zuri. I'm serious. Esther doesn't appreciate you, not like I do. I see you, Jabari. I really see you." The congregation gasped. Heads turned. People looked at each other in confusion, then the sound of kissing. Jabari's face went white. Zuri's mouth fell open. The recording continued. Zuri's voice again. "I can't believe we're doing this the night before your wedding." Jabari's voice. "She'll never know." Zuri laughed. "And even if she does, what can she do? Leave you? She's too weak, too afraid of what people will say." The church erupted. Women screamed. Men stood up. Someone shouted, "Jesus Christ!" An elderly woman fainted and had to be carried outside. Esther let the recording play for another 30 seconds, the moaning, the bed squeaking, all of it. Then she stopped it. The silence that followed was deafening. You could hear people breathing, the sound of someone's phone ringing in the distance. Esther turned slowly to face the congregation. Her voice was steady, calm, powerful. "Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming. I know you all came here expecting a wedding, but I came here to show you the truth." She paused. Every eye in the room was on her. "Last night, while I was at home praying for this day, my groom and my sister were together in a guest house in Ikeja, room 5 at Greenfield Lodge. What you just heard is what I recorded when I went there." More gasps, more screams. Jabari's mother stood up. "Jabari, what is this? What is she saying?" Jabari opened his mouth, but no words came out. Esther continued. Her voice never wavered. "I stood outside that door for 6 minutes, listening, recording, while they laughed about me, while they planned to deceive me, while they used my trust and my love as a joke." She turned to Jabari. Her eyes were cold. "You are too weak to be my husband. Anyone can trap you. Anyone can manipulate you. You have no backbone, no loyalty, no honor." Jabari's eyes filled with tears. "Esther, please." "Don't." Her voice cut through the air like a knife. "Don't say my name." Then she turned to Zuri, who was standing frozen with tears streaming down her face. "And you, my own sister, my own blood, you finally took something from me. Congratulations. You took trash." Zuri sobbed. "Esther, I'm sorry." "No, you're not. You're only sorry because everyone knows now." Esther pulled off her engagement ring. She looked at it for a moment, then she dropped it on the floor. It bounced once, twice, then rolled across the red carpet and stopped at Jabari's feet. "This wedding is over." She picked up her gown with both hands and walked off the altar. Her head was high. Her shoulders were back. Her steps were slow, deliberate, powerful. And as she walked down the aisle, something incredible happened. One person started clapping, then another, then another. Within seconds, the entire congregation was on their feet applauding. Some were crying, some were shouting. "Yes, that's how you do it." "Queen," an elderly woman shouted. "God bless you, my daughter." A young girl yelled, "You're my hero." Esther didn't look back, not once. She walked out of the church into the bright sunlight. She got into the bridal car alone. The driver looked at her in the mirror, unsure what to do. "Take me home," she said quietly. As the car pulled away, Esther looked out the window one last time. The church was in chaos. Guests were pouring out onto the street. Phones were everywhere. People were calling relatives who weren't there. "You won't believe what just happened." Jabari stood at the entrance of the church looking completely lost. His tuxedo suddenly looked too big on him. His best man was trying to talk to him, but Jabari just stared at the ground. Zuri sat on the church steps crying into her hands. Her pink bridesmaid dress was wrinkled. Her makeup was running down her face in black streaks. Jabari's mother walked up to her and slapped her across the face. The sound echoed. "You shameless girl! How dare you!" Esther closed her eyes. For the first time in 48 hours, she smiled. A real smile, Not forced, not fake, real. When she got home, the compound was empty. Everyone was still at the church. She went straight to her room and locked the door. She stood in front of the mirror, still wearing her wedding gown. She looked at herself for a long moment. Then she started laughing. Not a sad laugh, not a bitter laugh, a free laugh, the kind that comes from deep in your chest when you've been holding your breath for too long and finally let it out. She unzipped the dress and let it fall to the floor. She stepped out of it and left it there in a white puddle. She put on a simple t-shirt and wrapper and sat on her bed. Her phone started buzzing. Calls, messages, notifications. She ignored all of it except one, a message from Kemi. "Girl, I'm coming over right now." 20 minutes later, Kemi burst through the door. She didn't knock. She just came in and hugged Esther so tight they both almost fell over. "Esther, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. I can't believe you actually did that." Esther hugged her back. "I had to." Kemi pulled away and looked at her. "Are you okay?" "I'm better than okay, I'm free." They sat on the bed, and Kemi listened as Esther told her everything. Finding them at the guest house, recording them. Planning the exposure, Kemi's eyes got wider and wider. "You are the bravest woman I have ever met," Kemi said. "Most people would have just cried and cancelled the wedding quietly. But you? You burned the whole thing down." Esther shrugged. "They deserved it. They absolutely did." Back at the church, Jabari finally moved. He went back inside to the now empty hall. Chairs were knocked over, programs were scattered on the floor. The flowers still looked beautiful, mocking him. His mother followed him. "Jabari." He didn't turn around. "Jabari, look at me." He turned slowly. His eyes were red. "Mama, I'm sorry." She shook her head. "Sorry? Sorry for what? For sleeping with your bride's sister, for laughing about her, for thinking you could get away with it." "I didn't think." "That's the problem." Her voice echoed in the empty hall. "You didn't think. You had a good woman, a woman who loved you, who trusted you. And you threw her away for what? For a few hours with that girl." Jabari sat down heavily in one of the chairs. "I made a mistake. A mistake is forgetting to buy milk. This is betrayal. This is wickedness." His best man walked over. "Bro, we need to leave. People are taking videos outside." Jabari nodded and stood up. As they walked out through the back entrance, he pulled out his phone and tried calling Esther. It rang once, then went straight to voicemail. "Esther, please just let me explain. I know what I did was wrong, but please just give me a chance to—" He stopped. What could he possibly say? He deleted the message before sending it. Zuri had already left the church. Her father came and practically dragged her to the car. He didn't say a word to her the entire drive home. Just gripped the steering wheel so hard his knuckles turned white. When they got home, Zuri tried to go to her room, but her father blocked the doorway. "Sit down." "Daddy, please." "Sit down." She sat on the couch. Her mother stood in the corner with her arms crossed. She hadn't said a single word, just stared at Zuri with a look of pure disappointment. Her father paced back and forth. "Do you know what you've done? Do you have any idea?" Zuri kept her head down. "I'm sorry." "Sorry?" He laughed bitterly. "You destroyed your sister's wedding. You slept with her fiancé. You humiliated this family in front of the entire church. And you think sorry is enough? It was a mistake." "No," he shouted so loud Zuri flinched. "A mistake is something you do once and regret immediately. You planned this. You pursued him. You seduced him knowing exactly what you were doing." Zuri started crying again. "I just wanted—" "What? What did you want?" "I wanted what she has. I wanted to be chosen. I wanted to feel special." Her mother finally spoke. Her voice was quiet but cold as ice. "And now what do you have? Shame. That's all you have." Zuri looked up at her mother. "Mama, please. Don't call me that. I don't have a daughter like you." The words hit Zuri like a punch to the stomach. She sobbed harder, but neither parent comforted her. Her father pointed to the hallway. "Go to your room. Don't come out. I don't want to see your face." Zuri stood up and ran to her room. She slammed the door and threw herself on the bed. She cried until she had no tears left. Then she lay there staring at the ceiling. Her phone buzzed. It was Jabari. We need to talk. She stared at the message for a long time, then she typed back, "There's nothing to talk about. We both lost." She turned off her phone and buried her face in the pillow. Meanwhile, the video of Esther's exposure had already started spreading. Someone had recorded the whole thing and posted it online. Within 2 hours, it had 50,000 views. By evening, it was at 200,000. Comments poured in, "This woman is a legend." "Jabari is a fool. He had a queen and chose a joker." "The sister is pure evil. How do you sleep with your own sister's man?" Esther handled this with so much class, she didn't scream or fight, just exposed them and left. Respect. News blogs picked it up. Bride exposes cheating groom and sister at wedding altar. Radio shows discussed it. Should she have handled it privately, or was the public exposure justified? By Sunday morning, Esther's name was trending across Nigeria. People were calling her a hero, a role model, a symbol of strength. Esther woke up that morning and checked her phone. 127 missed calls, 340 WhatsApp messages, 89 Instagram DMs. She put the phone down and went to take a shower. When she came back, her mother was sitting on her bed. "Esther." "Yes, Mama." "Are you okay?" Esther sat beside her. "I am." Her mother took her hand. "I'm proud of you. What you did took courage. Most women would have just cried quietly and married him anyway out of shame, but you chose yourself." "I had to, Mama. I couldn't live a lie." Her mother nodded. "Your father and I support you. Whatever you need, we're here." "Thank you, Mama." That afternoon, Esther's phone rang. Unknown number. She almost didn't pick up, but something made her answer. "Hello? Is this Esther?" "Yes." "Who is this?" "My name is Mrs. Okafor. I run a women's support organization here in Lagos. I watched what happened yesterday and I wanted to reach out." Esther sat up. "Okay. We help women who are going through difficult situations, abuse, betrayal, divorce, and we'd love for you to come speak to them, share your story. Many of them need to hear from someone like you." Esther thought about it. "I'm not a speaker. You don't have to be. You just have to be honest. That's what they need." Esther exhaled slowly. "Okay. When?" "Next Saturday, if you're available." "I'll be there." The week passed slowly. Esther stayed home most of the time. She ignored all the interview requests from TV stations and blogs. She just wanted quiet. Jabari tried calling every day. She blocked his number. He sent messages through his friends. She ignored them. He showed up at her parents' house on Wednesday evening. The gateman stopped him. "Oga, you cannot enter. Please just tell her I'm here. 5 minutes. That's all I need." The gateman went inside and came back 2 minutes later. "She said you should leave." Jabari stood there for a long time. Then he got back in his car and drove away. On Saturday, Esther went to the women's center. It was a small building in Yaba with plastic chairs and standing fans. About 40 women were seated when she arrived. Young, old, some with babies, some alone. Mrs. Okafor introduced her. "This is Esther. I'm sure many of you have heard her story. She's here to share with us today." Esther stood at the front holding a microphone. She looked at all the faces staring at her, some hopeful, some broken, some curious. "Good afternoon," she began. "My name is Esther, and 8 days ago, I was supposed to get married." She told them everything. Meeting Jabari, falling in love, discovering the betrayal, recording it, exposing them, walking away. When she finished, several women were crying. One woman stood up. "How did you find the courage? I've been in an abusive marriage for 5 years and I'm too afraid to leave." Esther looked at her. "I was afraid too, but I realized something. Staying in a situation that destroys you is not strength. It's fear. Real strength is choosing yourself, even when it's hard." Another woman asked, "But what about shame? What about what people will say?" "People will always talk, but they're not the ones living your life. You are. So live it for yourself, not for them." The room was silent. Then one woman started clapping, then another. Soon everyone was on their feet. After the session, several women came to hug Esther. One woman said, "Thank you. You gave me the push I needed to file for divorce." Another said, "I've been engaged to a man who hits me. I was going to marry him next month, but after hearing you, I'm calling it off." Esther felt something shift inside her. This wasn't just about her anymore. This was bigger. Over the next few weeks, Esther started a blog. She called it The Bride Who Walked. She wrote about her experience, about healing, about self-worth. Women started sending her their stories. My husband cheated with my best friend. My boyfriend stole my money and disappeared. My fiancé's family treated me like trash, but I stayed because I thought I had no choice. Esther responded to every message. She shared their stories on the blog with permission. Slowly, she built a community of women who were healing together. 3 months after the failed wedding, Esther was invited to speak at a university. The auditorium was packed, over 500 students. She wore a simple blue dress and stood on stage with confidence. "I'm not here to tell you I'm perfect," she said. "I'm not. I'm here to tell you that you deserve better than lies, better than betrayal, better than someone who doesn't value you." She paused and looked across the crowd. Walking away is not failure. It's freedom, and you are stronger than you think. The auditorium erupted in applause. Some students stood, some shouted her name. After the speech, dozens of young women lined up to talk to her, to thank her, to hug her. So if you're hurting, if you feel betrayed, if you think you'll never trust again, remember this story. You're not broken. You're just healing. Healing from people who didn't deserve you, people who took your love for granted, people who thought you were too weak to walk away. Don't settle. Don't stay where you're disrespected. Walk away, because self-respect is worth more than any relationship, and when you choose yourself, everything will change. Everything will fall into place. Now tell me, what did you learn from this story? Was there a moment that gave you chills? Would you have done what Esther did? Let me know in the comment section. I would love to hear your thoughts. A brand new story is coming in just a few days. It's powerful, emotional, and full of jaw-dropping moments. So please subscribe to my channel, Roots of the African Tales. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss it. If this story moved you, don't forget to like the video and share it with your friends and family who need to hear this message. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate you. Stay strong, Queens. Choose yourself. See you in the next one.